Recording in progress.
And welcome to the Design Review Board meeting of May 3rd, 2022. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask you to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This is the regular Design Review Board meeting for the City of Milton. As chairman, I will be running the meeting and calling the cases as we move through the meeting. This is a 7-member board appointed by the City of Milton Mayor and City Council and created for the purpose of holding public hearings and making recommendations to various boards in our city. Design Review Board reviews plans and makes recommendations to the Community Development Director, except for single-family residential, which is handled by staff and the director. In the form-based code and overlay districts of Milton. In addition, Design Review Board approves or denies the demolition request and makes recommendations to the Board of Zoning Appeals for all variances. I'd like to next move forward with introducing our staff and board members.
Shubha Jangam, Senior Planner at City of Milton.
Michael Cardiman, Planner 2.
Doug Haney of Bethany Way.
Reed Casey, Bethany Road.
Charlie Roberts, Freemanville Road.
Lee Collins, Westbrook Road.
Casey Robinson, Bethany Road.
I'd like to now approve or amend, if necessary, the agenda for tonight. Do I have any comments? If not, can I get a motion to approve the published agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
The agenda is approved. Next, I'd like to get comments or input on the minute meetings of April the 12th. Is there any comments, revisions, or changes? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve April 12th?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of April 12th for the Design Review Board.
No, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. As we move into the next part of our meeting, we'll be doing demolitions first, and our first case is 5A. If the applicant could come forward. Again, this is 5A, 15185 Thompson Road, Milton, Georgia, demolition. Yes, sir.
Puerto Rican Trademark Building Company, address 444 Milton Avenue, Alpharetta, Georgia. I'm representing the the owners of this property in front of you. They just recently purchased 5 acres. It does have an old brick home that they'd like to remove. And yeah, that's what I'm here for. Looking for approval to get the demolition of the house. And there's a couple sheds in the back that are also photographed that we'd like to have removed as well.
Okay, do we have any opposition?
No.
Hearing no opposition, we'll close the public hearing and ask the board for their thoughts and direction.
It's like all of the buildings that are on this property are coming down. Is that correct?
It is.
Is everything?
Yes,
Just want to make sure it's all in one application so you don't have to come back.
exactly.
Any other discussion? Hearing no other discussion, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the demo on 15185 Thompson Road.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
That completes our demolitions for tonight, so we'll move to courtesy reviews. This is where we're going to review and recommend. And this first case is 6A V22093123 Bailey Forest Drive. Could the applicant please come forward?
Thank you, members of the board. I'm representing Laudermill Homes on behalf of the homeowner for 3123 Valley Forest. And we're requesting a variance on the setback from 25 foot to 20 foot on the east side of the property. We permitted the house according to the survey we had on hand. And when we staked out the house, we realized that there is a stream buffer on the west side of the property, and it was closer to the house than it shows on the survey. So the house was encroaching into the stream buffer. So we redesigned the house, but I still couldn't make it to fit on the property. That's why we're requesting the variance to the east side of the property. We had a letter of support from the homeowner on the abutting side.
It?
That's all.
Do we have any opposition?
No, but we do have the letter that he mentioned.
We don't
Letter of
have it in our
support from
packet.
the adjacent neighbor.
Yeah, we got that today, the letter of
Okay.
support.
Okay, you've reviewed it, staff, and we do have a letter of support from the neighbor. Okay, let that be in the record. And we have no opposition, so we'll close the public hearing, and I'll ask the board for their direction. And
Was the initial The site plan incorrect that had the stream on there, or how did that happen?
We don't know how it happened. I guess the original survey shows this, the stream on a location. When we laid out the house, when we did the pre-construction meeting with Josh Rogers, he said, make sure you guys don't encroach the stream buffer. So when we measured, sure enough, we were encroaching into it. That's when we realized the whole thing. So like I said, the house had already been permitted. So. Mhm.
You got a comment, Shiva?
No, because, can you tell them what your story?
Yeah, so the building permit was issued on January 26th, and as he described, they did a foundation survey just to be safe that they weren't encroaching the buffer. After they did the foundation survey, they realized they were 5 feet closer than what the site plan / survey said for the building permit. And there's basically moving the same footprint, same layout over 5 feet. In doing so, requesting a 5-foot side setback variance.
So the permit was issued correctly. They built it in the wrong place.
I think that the survey for the creek was not accurate.
Correct.
Okay, the creek moved.
was in the wrong spot.
Well,
It's all the
in
creek's fault.
theory, yes.
In theory, all right.
Yeah.
Board, continue on.
I can't see this very well unless I'm missing something. You have something better to look at than I do.
What you're talking about is on the plan that we're looking at. It's actually the left side of the plan, right, where it is over.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I got you now.
flip this around the other way,
Makes
you'll
sense
see
to
it.
me. Okay. Got it. Thanks, Charlie.
I guess what my question would be, whether the creek moved or not, you would be 5 feet over in one direction or the other.
Isn't that the build line anyway? I mean, the build line is the build line regardless of the creek.
No, they cannot encroach the creek.
Yeah, you cannot encroach the buffer. The build line didn't move, but the buffer does, so the buffer takes precedence.
Well, I know, but talking about the creek, just the build line. Isn't this the build box?
Yeah, there's a 25-foot building setback from the property line, and then the creek can meander in and out and over that. So first you have a property line, then you have a 25-foot building setback line, but the creek buffer overrides the 25-foot setback building line, because the creek can meander into that
Right.
building line. And so you have to first obviously observe the 25-foot building line, but if a creek is over that line, you then have to observe the creek buffer.
Correct.
Just confirm for me, without me looking, this is in the 75-foot buffer, right? Or is it in the 50?
No, this was platted in 2000, in 2007, right when cityhood began. So therefore, they're only under the 25-foot state buffer.
Yeah, this is the 25, but I guess the creek's right. It's the same, it just all falls within that 25-foot buffer. It's just, this doesn't, this survey, site plan, whatever you want to call it, just doesn't show very much.
I guess my point
This
is,
is
if
the
they're
creek.
supposed to build between this line and this line,
Then why did they go outside
they're
the
either
line?
5 feet over this way, or they'd be 5 feet over this
It's
way.
almost build the garage, don't build the third car garage. You can make the house fit by not doing that, but
Right.
is it a
You're
big
just making
ask?
the point. I'm not
Yeah, no,
suggesting
no,
one way or
I'm
the
I don't
just
other.
know that it really matters. I'm just curious to why they're asking for the creek buffer when they're already outside the build line. It just doesn't make
Yeah,
any
they are
sense.
outside. They are
Let me,
outside.
They're
if I
shifting
could,
the
if I
house
could,
over.
let me. To make this work, they moved out of the creek, which pushed them over here.
Okay.
They shifted the whole plan.
Oh, I
They
keep
just
seeing this
shifted
as a
over.
25-foot build line on this.
And as his letter states, we didn't want to make the state unhappy.
Yeah.
So we came to Milton to see if we could work with Milton.
And they do have a letter from the neighbor.
Right.
Yeah, then.
Is the
house-
foundation in?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, those pictures, it's well underway.
The board needs to, I'm one opinion, but It's 5 feet, right?
Yeah, I really don't have a problem with this.
Me neither.
Now,
I
the
think
area
without
enclosure,
it,
it's only a single car garage, so it's not a majority of the building. It's like a small
It
portion
doesn't
of the
matter if
building.
it's a garage,
No, I
just to
understand
be on
that.
the record.
Yeah.
On the record. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's over the line, it's over the line. But I think we're going to have a recommendation here. So can I get a recommendation from the board?
I'll recommend to approve, oh, no, we're just giving our opinion. So yeah,
We're sending a recommendation to BZA.
I have no problem with it.
same.
Yeah,
If it's,
No
neighbors
problems.
approving it, neighbors
Yeah,
are okay with it.
we've got a
So-
letter of approval.
Everybody good? So Sheila, we're going to send forward a recommendation to BZA that we don't have a problem with this. And we'd recommend they grant them relief, especially with the neighbor approving it, and it just being 5 feet. Okay? All right.
Thank you for your time and consideration.
Okay.
Here.
Good luck. Next case, item 6B, V2210, 2200 Birmingham Road.
Good evening. I'm Yana Chevalier, the owner of 2200 Birmingham Road. I'm here to request a variance for an existing structure, two variances for the same existing structure. One is to reduce the side yard setback adjacent to a street from 40 feet to 33.5 feet, just in one corner. The other is to allow an existing single-family home to remain in front of a proposed primary single-family home for a guest house use.
Okay. Do we have any opposition? Okay, I'll close the public hearing and ask the board for their comments and suggestions.
The first part's just correcting a historic error, isn't it? So no issue with the first part.
what was that, Lee?
The correcting or bringing it into compliance, the house has been there since 1955 and the encroachment is an old one.
And the big issue then is, can they have a guest house in front of a primary house, which is not allowed without a variance? That's the big issue. So
Can they split the lot?
I'm sorry?
Could you split the lot?
No, I can't, I'm not allowed to do another minor plat change.
She
So
already
they
split
are-
up the other
they-
two.
They are under review for a minor plat. They're already splitting that lot into 3 lots, and they're keeping the bigger one. And the house is on the bigger one where this existing house will be a future guest house, and they will build a primary house in the back.
So if we look at this drawing in our package, they've split off 2 new lots. They're going to build on the 3rd lot, and they're keeping the guest house on the big lot.
On track 1.
That says 6.7?
Correct.
And I guess for a point of clarification, the new house you're going to build has access, so it could be sold as a 3rd lot, and then the existing house could stay on its own lot.
No, it's part of one track, track 1. It won't be split.
All this. She's
Yeah.
already done a minor subdivision plat to
That'll be-
separate these 2 pieces. Are you going to bring another driveway in from Henderson Road?
I don't believe it'll come from Henderson. I think it'll come up past the first 2 lots, or track 2 and track 3 from Birmingham will be the easiest access. There's some sort of utility easement on Henderson on what would be my property line. I'm not sure what that is, so we just thought we'd leave that alone.
$1,310 heated and cooled square feet?
I think it's actually less now that I've actually had a handyman go through it. It's probably 1,100 cooled.
No other basements or anything like that?
No,
It's just a,
it is a granite and concrete house.
is there any other structures on the outside of that building?
Yeah, there's a barn that was built, a well house. Well, I don't know if you call it a structure, but yes.
Well,
And
house.
And a pseudo greenhouse.
Are the two new lots approved and done? Or are you in for that now?
To be heard on May 17th.
Is that by planning commission or?
And council, it goes to council. Minor plots just goes to council.
So this is going on to BZA for the
For
guest
a variance, yes. just
and
for
the
variance.
subdivision plat's going to council.
Yes.
Yeah, and that'll be in June for the mayor and council if the BZA is approved.
Yeah, they are supposed to get a variance before they go to the council.
Were you the one that did the minor subdivision plat? You did? How long ago was that?
I've been in process for about 6 months now.
You ask a good question. The total acreage is how much?
6.7 on the larger lot.
So 6.7 will be left after the two lots are taken out.
Yes.
I'm going to ring in and say, I don't have a problem with this.
It keeps the larger.
Let's keep
estate
larger
lots.
tracks. So your minor subdivision plat has not been approved yet?
No.
Okay.
And it really doesn't change bringing the house into compliance and getting the right to build another house in the back on this piece, even if she gets denied. Hope that doesn't happen for you, but if it did, it doesn't change our decision today on the new house and the guest house. And guest house has been there. This is behind the guest house.
Doesn't really impact anyone.
Yep.
I think it makes an interesting property and keeps larger lots in Milton.
Very Milton-like.
It is.
I mean, the only other option would be to demo the house in front, put another one back there, and then you lose the structure, which
Which has been there
I
since the
don't know-
50s.
I don't know if that
It's
makes
kind
any sense.
Right.
All right, so can the board make a recommendation to BZA? Go ahead, one of you.
Yeah.
I'd recommend it's allowed. I have no issue with it. It creates a larger lot and maintains a larger property in Milton.
Agreed.
And so we're recommending from our board approval of allowing them to have a guest house in front of a new structure. Okay, there you go. Good
Thank
luck
you,
at
gentlemen.
BZA.
Oh, and to allow for the setback.
And allow for the setbacks, the hardship. So the next case is 7A, which is who's here from, let's see, 7A. I'm on GDOT. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's a traffic engineer, not traffic engineer.
Okay.
Public Works representative.
All right, so 7A is GDOT for the wall construction on Highway 9. So go ahead, sir.
Good evening, board members. My name is Rob Dalros. I'm an engineer and project manager here in the Public Works Department for the City of Milton. Here in front of you tonight to talk about a wall facing along State Route 9. Most of you probably know that City of Milton has 3 miles of frontage along State Route 9 from Windward Parkway up to the Forsyth County line. Also, most of you probably know the construction that's going on in Alpharetta right now. That is phase 1 of improvements to State Route 9 that the state DOT is doing. Phase 2 of that is expected to start construction next year, and that's the project we're talking about tonight, starting on the southern end from Windward Parkway and traveling up 3 miles past Crooked Creek Golf Club to the Forsyth County line. Staff has been coordinating with the engineer Pond and Company working for the state DOT and learned that the 30 proposed walls along the project, most of them being at the back of sidewalk, just near the right-of-way line. The base condition of what those walls would look like with the state DOT are an ashlar stamped concrete shown on the picture here. That is the state DOT's standard base construction technique. Based on conversations with our mayor and council, Sarah Leaders, our Public Works Director, and I think that the city will want to spend city dollars to enhance the look of those walls, and that's why I'm here in front of you tonight. I'd like to discuss options with you and bring whatever your recommendation is back to a future mayor and council meeting, likely in the next couple of months. So the vendors that we are familiar with, that I've brought samples here in front of me tonight down below, two different types of stone and two different types of colors. So we have the Hillcrest stone, which is a smaller block, and we have the Kensley stone, which is a larger block. Each of those have different color patterns shown on the screen. The Alpine, the Sable, and the Timber are made out of state at a different plant and are significantly more expensive than the bottom two, which the bottom two are the samples that I've brought for you tonight, the Avondale and the Pewter. The Pewter is a little bit more gray. The Avondale is a little bit more yellowish brown.
All right, let's slow down. Let's look at the stones. We've covered a lot of ground.
Okay.
Let's look at those two stones that you're recommending
Okay.
that
So
are cheaper.
we're recommending.
Could you hold those up so we can see? 'em?
Sure.
And let us resolve that question first.
Can I just ask a dumb question in the first place? Like, I've seen all this construction going on. Why are we building all the walls?
Minimize impacts to private property in lieu of when you widen the road in order to avoid further impacts on the private property and dropping slopes 2-to-1 or 4-to-1, you try and minimize the footprint.
So by building a wall, you're basically taking the street or the allowance, the margin of the street up as opposed to out?
Yes.
Okay.
And if I could add to that, they have a right of way. If they go onto that and take someone's parking, the cost of that is significantly more than the walls because they're destroying the value of those buildings along there. So the wall keeps DOT or a municipality in the right of way, the wall. And if they have to lay it back with a slope and take parking, they got to condemn the house and pay for the entire property, generally. Where it's that tight and the density is so close to the road. So now let's resolve, do we like the two patterns because they're made cheaper, they're cheaper?
So for the stone type, we have the Kensley on the left, these two, and the Hillcrest on the right. The Hillcrest is a smaller stone. The Hillcrest, the two different colors are top and bottom.
That's one stone.
That's Hillcrest.
Once,
Avondale Hillcrest is on top, the Pewter Hillcrest is on bottom.
got it.
Okay.
I like the left and the bottom.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's see that's,
Then the other two options is
let's finish the whole thing.
This is the Kensley stone, when staff are looking at these, the community development director, given the height of the walls would generally be in the 2 to 4 or 5 foot high. At the sidewalk, staff off a bigger stone would be the way to go on that wall. So the Kensley Avondale is here, which is a little bit more yellowish brown. And then the Kensley Pewter, the more grayish.
Okay.
Not to skip ahead, I like the middle one.
Well, we're not calling the vote yet. So tell me again, staff would like us to use the cheaper materials.
So staff
Let me finish if I may. Remember, we're on public record here. So staff would like these materials and staff likes the bigger stones, right?
Correct.
And then does staff have a color they prefer?
So we discussed it with our community development director and a couple of the staff members in his department. And we were leaning towards let me make sure I get my names right. Kensley stone.
Why don't you hold it up for us?
The Kensley stone, the larger choice stone, and a 50-50 field mix of the two colors and the Avondale.
All right. And the concept on the bigger stone is these walls are fairly high. They're going to look higher with smaller stones. They're going to look shorter with bigger stones.
That's correct.
And so before we start voting on the little stone, we want these big walls to be less obtrusive, so bigger stones make them look shorter. So now let's discuss what the board wants to do and what your thoughts are. But we're still not voting yet. Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, let's start with the left end and hear what you want to do.
If it were my preference, I would go with the far left one, the bigger stone, the grayer color, less yellow. Maybe because I'm a bulldog and tech is yellow, so I go that direction.
Good a reason as any.
I didn't see Georgia and Tech in those stones at all.
No, when you bleed red and black, you see it everywhere. It's just how that works. That's just my preference. I like the bigger stone look. I'm going to trust that having bigger stones will make the walls seem shorter. If that's the case, then fantastic. It happens to go along with what I like better. And I just like the grayer color better than the yellow. That's just preference.
Okay, Reed?
Ditto.
Okay. Lee?
The only thing I would say is if you have the big walls and gray stones, it could look a bit drab. The 50-50 mix idea might be the way to go.
It's going to be a change from the current Alpharetta walls that they're putting up.
Which are
correct?
terrible.
Which are awful,
Yeah,
Awful.
Really bad.
like really bad.
I think any of our choices.
I think a little contrast would be great. So, I mean,
Could we get
you said
to,
it's a 50-50 mix, so it's a little bit of the two on the left, correct?
Yes, so the 50-50 field mix, you obviously wouldn't buy everything of every color. It would be half one, half the other, and the contractor would
And
be
then figure
mixing
it
and
out.
matching as they face it. This is, I didn't detail that earlier. This is a stone veneer facing that goes in front of the wall. It's not actually the material that is constructing the wall itself. It's just a veneer facing.
Sure.
right now? I think everybody then voted for the bigger stones, so the little ones are out.
So the Kensley.
So then with the only issue the board has is to come together on the color. And I would ask if we could all live with staff's recommendation. We've agreed on the stone and just let staff do what they've advised us and do their mix. And so that would be my vote. I'll make a motion to do staff's recommendation on stone and the mix of colors. Can I get a unanimous approval on that?
Yes.
Doug?
We have Bulldogs and Tech grads in Milton.
I don't know why Bulldogs are worried. Tech never competes with them.
I just want to go on the record that I did not say that. That's fine. I'm good with that.
All right, I think can I get a motion? I have a motion on the floor. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We've approved the stone and the color recommendation that staff has put forth.
Thank you. We'll be bringing that recommendation to mayor and council in the next several
Okay,
months.
great.
You do not go to BZA with that? No? So David Jackson will never see that? Oh, well. Okay. He's a tech grad.
Okay.
All right, let's go to item 7B.
Oh, this is-
And 7B, 12830 New Providence Road. This has been before you earlier, and I think the church is back just on colors and design. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And materials,
Yes, sir.
which would complete everything you've got to be doing with us. So why don't you, we obviously don't have any opposition here. All right, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll ask you to present to the board, and let's see if they're happy with all of our colors.
My name's David Lufkin. I'm a senior member of the congregation at Interquest Church. And it's my understanding that this project has basically been approved pending the approval of the materials of color and
Yeah.
the colors.
May I interrupt 1 minute? Could I interrupt 1 minute?
Yes, sir.
Shuby, you're going to document this
Yes.
and
It's
retain
already in
this?
the packet. Every name and everything is in.
Okay, you've got it documented. Good, thank you. All right, go ahead, sir.
All provided by Home Depot. The colors are all Bear, Dynasty, Marquee paints. Siding is blank. The shingles are asphalt, and the colors match other existing structures on the property.
All right,
Take a closer look.
so I'm going to ask for the board's opinions and thoughts, changes, or approval.
If I'm not mistaken, we're doing all the colors the same as the other building that's already there, right? We're just documenting what those colors and kind of the make and the model and materials are, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't have any questions.
Ms. Careford, please, sir.
Does anybody have any changes they'd like to make or further discussion on the colors or materials? Can I get a motion?
Make a motion to approve the materials and finishes chosen by Interquest Church.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you for coming back, and thank you for getting that documented.
No, you can take it.
She's like,
All right, next case before us is 7C, corner of Woodbridge Road and Deerfield Parkway, Millstone Park. Is the applicant here? There he is, and she, there they are. This has been before us several times earlier, and the applicant has worked with us for more than a year in trying to get to a design that we're all happy with. So just for the new members on the board, we have been seeing this for more than a year. And the city architect has reviewed this and has sent it to us. Doesn't mean you don't have opinions or changes. So with that said, has everybody reviewed the presentation and the book they've given us?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Applicant.
My name's Ryan Bobbitt. I'm with Piedmont Residential. Mr. Roberts said it pretty well. We've been working with actually him and Mr. Buscemi and Shuba for quite some time now. I think we've come to something that I know that Mr. Buscemi and Shuba liked. So we're bringing it to you
If I
guys.
didn't like it, I wouldn't have sent you to Mr. Bob. He's our boss. So,
Yes, sir.
all right, with that said, any opposition to this?
No, I think he did a good job.
I think you did an excellent job. From where we were a year and a half ago, we really appreciate Piedmont's efforts and time and energy to work with us, get these front porches on and get that Milton look. So we're going to close the public hearing and ask the board for their input.
Doesn't even look like the same project. It looks really good.
And welcome.
Yeah, I wasn't on the board when y'all reviewed it initially, but just going through the packet, it's well done. It's well put together.
If you compare
Made it
the
easy to
original
understand.
shots,
Yeah, I
so
included.
far improved.
I included a couple of pictures from the
Oh,
last
yeah,
packet,
looked
and
like
you
an
can
apartment
see
last time.
it's
Yeah.
drastically
Take it down.
different.
Oh, that was?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't,
Oh, yeah,
I was like, that
it's
doesn't look the
major
same. I
upgrade.
The
didn't, I was
huge jump
confused.
forward, I like it.
We
After our-
really,
after
Bob
our
and I
year and a
really
half
wanted
of
those
meeting,
front.
we think we're understanding the Milton brand now.
But it took like, what, 5 meetings?
It took a few with you, and then it took about 4 or 5 with Bob and Shuba, so we're there.
Yeah, good deal. All right, can I get a motion to approve as submitted?
Yeah, I'll motion to approve 7C Millstone Park.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
Motion carries. Thank you for all your extra effort.
Thank you.
That's colors and everything, is it?
Yeah, the book has all
Very
his colors.
back, it has
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
detail of these
Facing
4
that way.
Just want to make sure they don't have to come back.
layouts.
Thanks for bringing all that.
Rather be,
We're happy
overprepared,
with
right?
where you are. Normally, we'd spend more time on it, believe me, but
Thank you.
this has had many, many looks at it before it got here. All right. We still have folks in the audience. In my agenda, we're ready for new business, and I don't see any new business. So do we have any new business? Anybody have any discussion? Hearing none, we'll move to old business. Anybody have,
Did you guys get my email about the email change? I'm sorry.
That was going to be my question is when, do we need to do anything for
No.
that to take effect or?
So you will just need password from me, or, I mean, I included my phone number and Michael's phone number. Just call one of us, whoever you can catch, because we are always running around. So, and then we can give you over the phone passwords, so you can sign in.
That sounds secure.
Yeah. So the best way to use this is, I'm pretty sure some of you already use the Outlook app. I was using the native iPhone app, but now I've started using Outlook app, and it's much smoother on that one. So
Good.
all right? Any other old business? All right, I have one piece of old business and information for the board. If you'll remember, the Crabapple Market venue came before us last month. That venue, after doing some homework, wasn't 190 occupants, it was 254. And after further discussion with the owner, Mr. Orkin, he has agreed to cap that occupancy at 120 and has given me an email that I forward on, but I'd like you to make sure in any packages or anything going to anybody that I have that in writing from Mr. Orkin, and he will cap it at 120.
yeah, I think at the planning commission meeting, they reduced the capacity to 120. And so that's going to be a public record that they reduced.
Okay, and I just wanted our board to know where we ended up. Instead of 254, he's happy at 120. I was happy with that. I was at 100. He was at 140. We compromised at 120. And
If it was allowable at 2+, why did it come to us at 190?
I think there was a mistake in the fire marshal paperwork that one person was saying 190 was approved by the fire marshal, and somewhere else it was 254. There was just some confusion there. And we ended up at 120, so it didn't really matter to solve that misunderstanding. So that old business is done. Anybody have any discussion for the board?
Oh, I want to know, I want to guys tell you that, please call me if you have any questions. And I know the email is not going to work efficiently until you guys sign up. But meanwhile, before the meeting, if you have any questions, you can just call me and just get in touch with me. Also, let me know ahead of time if you are not going to be attending, because it's like every time it's a marathon to find out who's coming and who's not coming, especially if we have a small group. We want to I want to make sure that the meeting is happening. So just let me know if you're not coming.
All right.
Is the next meeting on the 7th?
Yep, June 7th, I guess. Yep.
June 7th? I'm letting you know I will not be here for that.
Okay.
That's good. So we'll check in with Ken, make sure the rest of us can be. All right. So hearing no new business or old business, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Can I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's closed.
That was efficient.